Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Rovel.
And Rovel is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 6 of the Formula V Championship here live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Andy Thompson. I'm joined in the commentary booth with Sam Fitzpatrick, and Sammy Kumil is our production behind the scenes. So, round 6 round at Okayama International Circuit. Very good circuit, I think, in prospect for these cars, Sam. Very quick corners, some quite long straights with some slipstreaming. So, I think I'm expecting a really interesting 3 rounds of racing tonight.
I think this is going to be a really good round. I was saying that about Behrens admittedly last time out as well, but I love this Okayama circuit. It's a lot of fun to see these cars go round. And you're right, yeah, it's not necessarily a track where you expect long straights, but there are plenty of flats out areas, lots of heavy braking zones as well. I think it's a really good car for this, a really good track for this car because these things are so nimble that around the kind of slow speed corners they can show off some of their good characteristics. So yeah, it should be a fun one tonight as all the drivers rush out of the grid to take to the track for qualifying.
Yeah, so 10 minutes of qualifying just starting up for the drivers, so getting their tyres warmed up for the out lap. And yeah, so some interesting corners. A lot of the rounds that we've had previously, a lot of drivers said you only have to sort of slow down for 1 or 2. But certainly around this track, I certainly see them slowing down for a few more corners than they have previously, namely like the hairpin, coming around to Redmond and Hobbs, and then obviously trying to get that fast straight out on the last corner, which I'd imagine would be flat out in these cars. So whilst we look at that, let's have a look at the championship at the moment. So Jacob Behrens, he's had a really good second half to the season. We saw him at the start of the championship, and we knew he was a very fast driver, but unfortunately got caught up in a few incidents which hurt his championship, but certainly sorted out whatever issues he had, and is currently leading the championship from his teammate Alexander Scaret only by the merest of 2 points. Then in third place we got Daniel Silva-Savo, who's only 3 points behind. So the top three covered by 5 points at the moment. So really close in the pro standings. In the amateur standings, we've got Pusha Pruvla in first place, 647, with Jarrett Will in second place at 603. So a bit more of a gap in the AM standings than it is in the pro. But Prosta Prava has had a few incidents in the last couple of rounds that have put pay to what is normally a very confident drive from the Prosta Prava. So it seems to be unraveling a little bit. So it's see if he can get back his mojo for tonight's race and get it all done, Sam, really.
Yeah, it was a fairly horrendous Brands Hatch round for him, involved in a couple of incidents. I think one was a self-spin, one was a collision with another driver. And really, we've been able to see him avoid all those incidents so far this season. But yeah, it's just come up with a little bit of a question mark now, whether or not he's going to win the title, still with a good lead in the Pro Championship. So honestly, with the drivers so close, you may as well just put the top 5 all on equal points, honestly, because the gaps are so tiny. It's literally whoever can drive best over the remaining rounds. So really fun. This has been quite a unique series in terms of how tight the championship is. It's going to come down to the final race of the season. And so, yeah, it should be a good one. Really important. Every race tonight, so all 15 minutes, all 15 minutes or more.
Yeah, we'll see if the 3 rounds tonight go the way of the previous rounds, where we have sort of like different winners for the majority of the races. So that seems to be a theme running through every single round that we've had so far. We seem to have different race winners, and obviously this first race is all sorted out by the qualifying times, as we see Scaret go to the top of the leaderboard. So the second place is first and first place is second at the moment. So 151.405. I'd imagine we'll get a little bit quicker than that. We'll be doing around about 150 in practice. So obviously just getting them tyres warmed up. Nearly halfway through this qualifying session as Andelo takes the top spot at the moment with a 151.3. But you know, like I was saying, the first race is sorted by the qualify, but then we have reverse grids, and that's where all the fun has sort of been in race 2 and 3, Sam. So we've had the, you know, anything from 10 to 16 place grid, and I believe it's 11 for race 2 tonight, and 10 places. So they're near enough the minimum we can have, but we always see sort of the front runners at the first race right back in the mid pack, and that's what causes them a lot of issues.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, on lap 1, so easy to have a spin, and if a driver in front of you has a spin, then there's often really nowhere for you to go. So that is the danger points for many of these drivers. And yeah, those race 2 and race 3 is really where it can go very well for you or very poorly. Daladone up to the top of the times. That's an excellent lap time. First man into the 50s. He briefly appeared in the pits, but I think that was just because he pulled to the inside straight away. So I'm not sure if he got a draft on that lap, Daladone, but that is some benchmark. And yeah, the IGL coatings cars along with Angelo is going to do very well to get near that.
Yeah, we haven't seen Daladone for a few rounds. Obviously picking and choosing where he comes into the championship, but whenever he does come into the championships, we do know he's a very fast driver, and takes these cars by the scruff of his necks and gets it around. And as we can see there, for Jank going to the top now with a 150.679. So these are the times that I was sort of expecting him to be around. We've got 4 minutes left. It takes about 150. So, you know, you're looking at 2 or 3 laps left for these drivers to be able to get around at the moment. So the top of the AMs at the moment was Parise, as we just say that, slipping into 4th place with a 151.34. So yeah, nice to see the AMs again mixing it up, as we saw very much around Brands Hatch, mixing it up with the pros and not giving them any sort of leverage or leeway just because they're a pro within there. So we've currently got 3 minutes and 15 seconds left of qualifying. Here we've got Jank, Daladoni, Angelo, Parise, top as the Am, Skiret in 5th, Charpentier 6th, Fowler 7th, Behrens in 8th. So that's a bit of a low down place normally from where we see Behrens at the moment. So I think he's got a little bit to do there. So
Yeah, he was going slowly with his teammates. A few laps ago was Behrens, maybe just cooling down the tyres and kind of priming up to go for another lap, but he seems to be doing it again here as well, so I'm quite sure what their strategy is. He needs to get around fairly quick, because I think his next lap might be his last lap, or he might just have, yeah, his next lap will definitely be his last lap, and even that will be fairly close for him to get it in. Of course, all the drivers up here are on fixed setup. It's the baseline setup, and so actually you usually get faster and faster as the session goes on. You can burn a little bit of fuel on, and so actually it's at the end of the session where you can go quick, as we kind of see the IGL Coates' cars getting into formation here. Screwet a very nice distance behind Jakob Behrens at the moment, who's got a bit of a tow as well. I think that might be Russ Fowler just ahead of it. I'm not 100% sure about that one, but they're all following one another. It's going a very nice distance back, getting a nice draft from the drivers.
definitely, it always helps in these open qualifying sessions when you do have teammates around you, so you can work together and use the slipstream. But you know, like we've seen here at the moment, it's not really paying off for the two RGL Pro Team guys, first and second in the Pro Championship, as we see Skarek. Obviously seems to be holding up a little bit. So Skarek gets sector 1, the fastest sector at the moment. Is getting a really good toe down the back straight here, so we can see the power of this slipstream from down here. Hopefully this driver in front will see and not get in his way, so he does do it. Makes it a little bit. Oh no. Yes, unfortunately got clipped by the driver on for a really good lap there. Fastest first sector, fastest second sector, and unfortunately got taken out on the hairpin as he gets hit again for good measure. So I think that might be, that will be his lap over and done with. So the first and second and champion are 5th and 8th at the moment.
Yeah, anyone else can improve. There is Russ Fowler. I don't think was the driver involved in all that in hindsight. I'm not quite sure. Aaron Smith, what can he do? He's a very quick driver. Is Smith? He might be able to get up in the top 5 potentially. But yeah, real poor qualifying there for Behrens. It seemed like they're all prepping for that, you know, toe lap, and then they never really got in a good lap themselves. So they really should have got some bankers in, but of course I'm not 100% sure. There may have been other stuff going on there. As Sivi Sabo with a nice draft there, managing to move up into 3rd position, just short of Daladoni. Smith up into 5th. Sabo down in 13th position, also improves. The checker flag is out. That was quite an exciting qualifying session. Lots of tactics being used, and after all of it, it's Yanka on pole position.
Yeah, definitely. So we just quickly go through the grid before we race up. So Philip Janka in first place, Alexander Daladoni in second, Daniel Savo third, Flivio Andelo in 4th, Aaron Smith managed to get up to 5th place there, Jack Parisi in 6th, Alexander Scaret 7th, Mark Charpentier in 8th, Russ Fowler 9th, Jacko Behrens in 10th, so probably an unusual, but in fact he normally gets round about there for race 1, Thomas Sorensen in 11th, Pushta Prava in 12th, Gabor Sabo in 13th, Meryl Hiraski in 14th, Pedro Dominguez in 15th, Jarrett Will 16th, Jay Walsh 17th, Alex Rodenbuck in 18th, Simon Ball in 19th, and Jack Reeves in 20th place. So just waiting for all the drivers to ready up before we start race number 1. So a nice little position that over the field. You see the little tiny cars on the grid already in up, Sam. So what are you expecting from this first race?
I mean, you know me. I always just want slipstreaming. I love slipstreaming. Maybe I should take part in ovals. I wonder if I'd win a race in ovals if I did. I I wonder. But yes, I want to see some slipstream in this one. I want to see close racing. Don't want to see lap 1 incidents. So hopefully we have a nice battle, because really anyone out of the top, I'd say top 7, no disrespect to Russ Fowler, but I think if Behrens and Sorensen can get past, they might be able to challenge as well for the lead. So yeah, let's see all those drivers up there. Charpentier qualified, but he starts in pits in this one, so he's in 8th place, and that's why there's a bit of a gap in the grid back there.
Yeah, definitely. So I think he's in the pits for the 3 races tonight, for unfortunately picking up quite a few penalties as we are ready to go here on race number 1. So we get the red lights up and we should see him underway. And a great start at the moment from Jank there. Daladoni in 2nd place, and Silvio Savo keeping on 1st. So the top ones all keeping around the south. Daniel Silvio Savo manages to get Daladoni into the 1st corner, but Daladoni will have the inside line going around the 1st corner. So hopefully it'll all keep it nice and clean going through the 1st corner on the lap. Keep them tyres getting warmed up as we see. Pretty much all back to where they were. Oh, big incident there involving Aaron Smith coming around that corner. It really gets you slid up, and we see Alex Roddenbuck as well getting slid off on the left-hand side as well. So Flavio Andalo there, so their cars will be heavily damaged there, but there is one fast repair on this, Sam, so they can get back to the pits and get that repair as we watch them go down the long back straight for the first time there, as we see was that Sorensen actually get a bit of a terrible turn out of that corner and loses about 3 places. So let's see what we can see with the slipstream going down this long back straight.
Yeah, he's getting some epic speed here. He's got Parise on his inside. Behrens and Skirt going to cover all the lines as they are teammates. Of course, Sorensen tries to go the long way round. I think they have won a race earlier on this season. Sorensen certainly very strong after being a mid-season entry, and he is just nipping ahead, but all that battling has cost him time. Pravda and Walsh off the track, so Pravda, amateur leader, fortunately for him, he hasn't got too much damage there, so he keeps on his way, should be alright as long as he's got the wheels pointing in the right direction. This car works well as Sorensen, after making some good progress, is off, and he's made a terrible rejoin, and usually I'm hesitant to make a call, but that was terrible, and on every way you nearly took out a couple of gyros, and he managed to spin for a 2nd time himself.
He was very lucky not to pick up Christian Fowler coming through there. I think he had his heart in his mouth when he saw that Formula V car come off, as we see Russ Fowler going out on the last corner. So, you know, these tyres need to get warmed up on this car before you actually start really throwing it into the corners. And we're seeing quite a few guys on this first lap with these fast corners making slight little mistakes. So the biggest gainer on the field at the moment is Jacko Behrens, up 6 places in 4th place. Miro Hivarevsky has actually got up 8 places and is currently in 6th place, with Jarrett Will, the second in the AMs actually at the moment, up 8 places. So, you know, there's some big gainers and some big losers, as we see there. Andalo in 14th place, down 10 places. Fowler down 8 places. Sorensen down 7 places. So, you know, you spin off in these cars, and that is pretty much you right down the back of the field. And as we see there, Smith obviously just coming out the pit exit down in 15 places with an unfortunate incident around turn number 2.
Oh, as we've got a change for the lead, Yanka just defending from Daladoni. It's also very spicy here with this 3 wide battle. Dominguez on the outside. That Charpentier, who started from the pit, storming through the order, and he's up to 8th position then is Charpentier, but he's glitching in and out a bit, and that's put Dominguez off and maybe fed him to Jet Will just behind. Good line there from Dominguez, carrying good speed whilst allowing room from his opponent. The incident, of course, that took out Andalo and Smith. It was Andalo who spun in front of Smith heading through turn 2. It was a mistake we've seen so many times through, and just giving up on the first lap of the race. And that is why they are right at the back, and why there's a bit of a gap right now from 3rd down to 4th, because whilst Behrens has had that epic start, you know, he's up a bunch of positions, 5 positions, you can see the gap that's opened up. So in terms of time, he's actually 4 seconds off the lead at the moment, and it seems like Daladoni just you know, weaving about right there as a signal that he doesn't want to overtake. He's just staying behind Yanka, because he knows just stay behind in this part of the race and overtake in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, definitely warming up his tyres there. It certainly looked like certainly wasn't trying to lose his slipstream from Silvio Savile back in third place. But exactly like you said, Sam, I think the biggest reason why there is that gap is obviously it's been voided now by Thomas Sorensen, who was filling that gap. That had an instant on that opening lap. So it's caused a little bit of a friction behind and a little bit of fracas behind between the two gaps here, as we see the top three sort of pulling away. But I'm pretty sure that the back two of Skiret and Behrens, who are working well together. You can certainly see him in the back slipstream, as we see Daladoni trying to go on the outside of Philip Jank, which is probably not the best line, but it can work if you can get that inside line, which he has done, and manages to get the inside line coming around the into sector 3 of the track here. So a great pass there by Daladoni coming down the back straight, obviously the overspeed, managing to get around the outside and keeping that inside line for the set of curves around Revolver and Piper of turn 6 and 7. So has managed to get that place done and is currently out in first place at the moment. So quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Virtual Racing School. Virtual Racing School has 50 plus data packs of road and oval racing, includes setups, track guides, data analysis software and one-to-one coaching. We'll go on over and have a look at virtualracingschool.com to see all the excellent packages that they can offer you. They have all sorts of different ones that will cater for all. So if you want to improve your iRacing experience, then please head over to there and see what they can do for you. As we watch Silvio Savile's just sat here at the moment in third place, managed to get the fastest lap of the race at 151.2 at the moment. So sort of staying out of the trouble of the front two here of Daladoni and Jank.
Yeah, he's. I think it's an even battle right now between all these three. It's difficult to tell who's got the pace. And Silvio Savile not leading a lap so far, but that does not matter in the slightest. On that last lap, the IGL Coatings cars weren't able to catch up, and they seem to be, they're trying to do it a bit like the Velodrome, where you got the teammates. So Charpentier has just moved past Parise, by the way, for 7th place. I think Skiret are trying to do it like the Velodrome, where you switch positions at the end of each straight, but I don't think it's working. I think it's kind of just holding them up more than anything else, which is usually what happens when people try to do it in, when drivers try to do it. As Daladoni has to defend. Oh, he's locked up massively there, and Janka did well to avoid him. Daladoni, I think, a bit apologetic there. Now deciding to just drive painfully slowly for a few moments, and that's allowed Janka to get past. I don't know what Daladoni was doing right there. Mr. Gear, I'm not quite sure, but Janka now with a 1.2 second advantage, and well, that might be enough to break the drought.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously he came down into that corner probably a bit too hot, trying to defend it, not realising where his braking distance was. You see him spinning out wide, coming around turn number 8, coming down onto the last two sections, which would probably be flat out in these cars to come down the start finish. But I think he maybe over-braked himself and tried to watch it here, going on, get this tyre out, and he literally scrubs off all his speed. As we see Silvio Savile right hitting, unfortunately, behind him. But yeah, as soon as you lose and scrub the speed off on these cars, it takes a little while to get that speed back. And obviously, as we saw there, Silvio Savile was fastest on the last lap, so he certainly got the speed and managed to keep it going. But obviously, he's now got Daladoni right on his rear, and certainly the front one's got away now, 1.5 seconds. So as you're saying, Skiret and Behrens seem to be working together and like in a big train here at the moment, but they're not really making any inroads to third place, so they're still staying around about 4.7, 4.8 seconds behind.
Lots of kind of little battles going on down the field, because just behind that you've got Huraski against Charpentier and Parise. I think Huraski kind of chopping into the clutches of these drivers. In fact, actually, I think they've been together for the last few laps. But Charpentier has been not resisting whatsoever any moves, as that is Parise going up the inside of the pair there. Well, I think Parise's got the best chance here, because if the other two turn in, then Parise will always win out. And that is what he has done. That's excellent work. Good driving, to be fair, from Charpentier and Huraski for that matter, for leaving space, being aware of what was happening, knowing that there were three wide. Charpentier does get past Huraski, who drops to the back of this train. Sabo also making some really good progress in the background. I think Sabo's got past both Dominguez and Will on this lap, and he's not far behind these drivers either, so good times there by the SCB Sim Racing Group driver catching up, and yeah, with a couple of cars behind him battling, he is pulling away. Will now ahead of Dominguez, who seems to be dropping down the order a bit.
Yeah, definitely. So unfortunately we saw there Haraski losing out to Paris and Sharp and Thier for the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th, and obviously as we're looking at here we've got Will, Dominguez and Ball having a train as well, so exactly like we normally get in these races, got little pods, and you can sort of see behind there Ball, Andelo, Reeves and Prav, they're all in little groups. So we've got these little pockets of 3 that are going as Jarrett Will goes up the inside here to try and take Dominguez. So manages to get it done, but he's going to be on the outside lines. Dominguez will have the inside line going around turn number 3, turn number 2 going into 3, so should keep that position. But no, Jarrett Will's managed to get the overspeed on Dominguez and manages to take that place. And you know, look who followed him through as well. Ball just followed him through, and so Dominguez just lost 2 places in the space of 2 corners. So that's the beauty of these cars. You know, you're trying to defend your position against one driver, and then all of a sudden you lose 2 places in the space of 2 corners.
Yeah, and then we get onto the long back straight, and it's near impossible to defend. Dominguez kind of pulling out quite early there, and I think this might be the opposite way around to what we saw the other time. Apologies, that was with a different group, wasn't it? But still, it's the inside line, always works there, so that is a good strategy for that one. Ball this time moving ahead, a bit of camber actually around that corner, so on the inside you do get a bit of a benefit, I think. Well, it's very awkward on the exit as you kind of go over the lip of the track. And there's also this trio going at it, Walsh, Fowler and Sorensen. Sorensen with a dreadful race so far, of course, went off at this hairpin on lap 1, then tried to get back onto the track, then spun again, and that is why he is sitting quite so far back, and unfortunately for him, outside of the worst good places at the moment, so not good for the 291.
No, definitely that seems to be occupied at the moment by Jarrett Will, but he's got quite a few cars around him with Ball and Dominguez, so that reverse grid pole is going to be hotly contested between them 3 at the moment. So we see the times coming up all around about the 151s, and then we get down to 11th place and it's coming into the 152, so really battling hard from 12th downwards to get the 152. So all over the roads at the moment as we're back here with Walsh, Sorensen and Fowler going through. I think there must be some damage slightly to Sorensen's car, because you know, we know he's a very quick driver, but doesn't seem to be really pulling away as much as we probably would expect him to start trying to get that reverse grid pole in his side. So must be a slight little bit of damage on Sorensen's car to be able to not pick up the speed like he normally does, as we see Walsh battling out there as we go back up to 4th place with the teammates in 4th and 5th.
Yeah, and yeah, don't pay too much attention to the order that they're in, as Dominguez just got back past Will, by the way, and Ansel up to 13th place. It's very tricky to keep up with all of these because there's constantly kind of drivers just slipstreaming past one another. However, Dominguez has gone off, and that is a shame for him because he was having a decent run. Was Dominguez not too far off the championship lead? Actually, is Dominguez. I think he's in 11th place in the championship, only like 80 points off, which is usually the gap between 1st and 3rd. Just shows how chaotic this season has been, and you can see the contact there. That was with Jarrett Will, who was having a big battle with. Will then a bit slow on exit, and after all that, Jack Reeve now inherits that coveted 11th position. You can see all the other drivers pushing Star Pravda trying to go the other way. So Pravda on the inside has actually lost out in this battle. You can see maybe just playing the percentages there and staying behind. And then he's that going off the circuit. I think that was Jacob Parise, in fact. He started up in 6th position, but he's now down to 14th. So a huge mistake there for Parise. And yeah, he's outside of the reverse grid places now. It's Reeve who occupies reverse grid pole.
So we've got Reeve, Will and Prada, all the AMs battling out, so it's 3rd, 4th and 5th in the AMs there battling out for that reverse grid pole. So Reeves actually lost the front of his no, I thought he lost the front of his car there. It looked very dark, but obviously a dark low car, so managed to see who keeps up. So at the moment we have Reeves currently in 11th place, but Will and Pravda are right and Parise are right on his tail. So we might see some moves coming down this fat straight as we just have a road reverse between the teammates of Behrens and Skiret. Obviously, I think Skiret will, being only 2 points in the championship, who would take top honours there? But as we watch the battle here for second, Mark Sharp, unfortunately come off from 9th place. So watch it. That's pretty much his rear right wheel completely off there, but certainly contacted quite a few drivers coming back onto track as we watch a replay here coming down to the hairpin. We try to stick it out wide. So just self-mistake really, and literally lucky to avoid them 2 cars, but then didn't look his relative, and unfortunately clipped 2 cars. Into the racing line, which was a bit unfortunate for the other drivers.
And that was Parise, who I think he got tangled with. So Parise looking like a side top 10, but far from that. Now Skiret back ahead, but I don't know. He knows what their pace would have been otherwise. But whenever I see them changing positions like that tactically, I think, it doesn't look like you're going particularly fast, guys, because it's just very tricky to concentrate in that scenario. They're not going to catch up to Sevi Sabo and Daladeno is going to catch up to this man. Jan-Philippe Janka. There's a great battle behind Reeve at the moment in 9th position with Pushistaya, Pravda, Will, Andalo, and Co. Super close to one another. That is that 4-car battle. Tricky to know what to watch at this point, but Reeve trying to make a break point. He's scampering away, trying to build up a gap, but there's no escaping, and Pushistaya Pravda is going to be very close, heading onto the back straight. Look at the tap there from Will, giving him a bit of a bump draft, and that allows Andalo to get underneath.
Yeah, it definitely is. Obviously, we're on our last lap here. I didn't even realise the time went that quickly here as Philip Jank is coming around to finishing off his last lap here. So Jank's quite far ahead, and the fight at the moment seems to be for second place with Sivi Savo and Daladoni on there. But Philip Jank, after sort of Daladoni made that mistake mid-race, and he hasn't looked back from there. He's literally kept that 1.5 seconds and then just extended it lap after lap, so currently 4 seconds ahead of Sivi Savo in second place, but obviously Daladoni is right on the tail of Sivi Savo, so it will be interesting to see if he can get him on the line as we watch here. Philip Yang take race win number 1 in out of 3, and obviously look at the train that we have in for second place. So Sivi Savo managed to get it, and Behrens gets 3rd. So Daladoni in 5th place. So I think he might have had a disconnect there. I think of judgment or slowdown or something. So he's gone from 3rd place down to 5th place. So yeah, definitely must have had some sort of slowdown there.
Paul finishes top of the amateur drivers. Good job from him, from starting from the pits as well, Paul, to get up to 7th place. Sabo had an off on the last lap, and you can see he lost 7 seconds on the last lap, did Sabo. Otherwise, he would have been just ahead of Simon Ball, I believe. Andalo with a good drive up the order into 9th, and Pravda takes reverse go. Paul Sorensen in the end was not far off. I was really counting him out with 5 minutes to go in terms of him getting reverse go, but actually it was only 1 place short. But it will be the Ukrainian Pravda on pole for race 2.
Yeah, definitely. Philip Jank didn't look back there when he got that little gap where he broke that toe mid-race with Daladone and managed to get that 1.5 seconds. He basically stretched out that lead and never looked back. So hotly contested second, and obviously the 2 teammates, RGL Coatings, going around together in a big long train, sort of paid off on the end, because unfortunately Daladone looked like he made a mistake and looked like he had got a slowdown or something coming off that last corner, and Behrens and Skiret managed to overtake him on there as we look down the order, I think.
Yeah, gooding up for race 2. It was Janko at the top, Sivi Sabo second, Behrens, Garrett and Daladoni rounding out the top 5. Top 11 get reversed, so the reverse go pole position goes to Pravda. Will on the front row. Andalo looking very strong up there in 3rd place, still with championship ambitions, I think, does the Brazilian. So yeah, going to be I think a good chance for him from that 2nd row of the grid.
Yeah, I think it was 10 for first and 11 for the second. So unfortunately, Push to Bravo just missed out there on reverse grid pro. So starts back down in 11th, but we certainly got Jarrett Will at the front of the grid. So a great battle there that we saw in that first race, and sort of paid off for him. So he's at the front of the field with Andelo in seconds, Sabo in third, Ball fourth, Farowski fifth, Daladoni in sixth, Garrett Behrens, Civi Savo, and race winner 1 Jank in 10th at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see. Only 3 AMs at the moment in this top 10, as we see. We normally have a few more than them as the red lights go on. And let's see what Will can get away, if he can get away smoothly. I think Angelo's actually got up on him at the moment. So Angelo's on the inside for turn 1. So he should be able to get the position taken here, as we see there. Angelo getting in there. So Jarrett will push down to second place with Gordon in second, and Savo in third. Karaski, Scorette, Behrens in 5th, 6th, 7th, as they all follow each other around turn 2 and 3. So no engine at the moment. Commentator's curse. Oh, as I just say that. And an absolute spin there from Daniel Civi-Savo. Got royally taken out there in turn number 3. So I think that was a commentator curse. I said it too soon.
I think he was going so fast he could, see the fractures in space and time there. Honestly, absolute Inception type stuff there. Craziness. About for the lead. Angelo to the front already, but Will and Ball close to him. And so far we've seen this inside line into the hairpin really advantageous. Ball's going to try to stick it up the inside there, and can he get into the lead? It's going to be a good exit for Angelo. I think that is good defense there from the Brazilian driver, who should have enough pace to pull away from these drivers, but he's a bit tight through Revolver, and it is Ball who takes the lead. So Angelo, I really thought was going to be gone, but instead he just seems to be extremely cautious at the moment, running the inside of the circuit on the most part, and he's dropping down to 4th position, crucially behind Scorette, who is one of the fastest drivers in the series. Angelo trying to fight back now through the hairpins all over the place there for Scorette. He eventually gets it in the right direction, but that big advantage that he got in the first kind of half lap over the other pro drivers has quickly diminished, and now he's dropping back further because Jan-Philipp Jank, race 1 winner, is moving past. And Jank, if he can make this position stick, he'll be up 6 places. As we've got launching over, that's 3 cars with contact. Haraski, who'd already spun, Sabo, and I think, was that Dominguez the other driver, or maybe one other?
Yeah,
Pravda.
Oh, Pravda, as we see them all in the pits lining up, which is not ideal. But, one of the big winners out of that first was Simon Ball, currently sat in at first place with the fastest lap, obviously the first lap out. But Angelo, like you said, Sal, I think he was a little bit nervous being at the front of the grid, not normally used to being in that position, and, got a bit nervous there as we watched this incident coming around. See Haraski, a little bit of argy-bargy in front of it, and then I thought that was the start. That was his. That was some sort of gymnastic move. That I'll give him 9 out of 10 for that gymnastics moves there.
Yeah, I'm sure Simone Biles couldn't do anything like that. Yeah, I hope that's not realistic, because I wouldn't want my worst enemy to go through that torture chamber or spinning in the air 20 odd times in half a second. So that was fairly. I'm pretty sure his head would be ripped from his body if that happened in real life. Here was what happened at the last point. So Pravda, he's just got nowhere to go. So I think it may have been originally the 223 who spun round, or Sabo. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was either Sabo or Haraski who spun initially. There you go. Yeah, so it was Sabo, but with the tap from Haraski, I think, and then there was nowhere for the others to go.
Yeah, and that's the thing with these cars, is the slightest little touch, as we see there, Pravda back.
Oh, wow.
Obviously Behrens as well, pretty much getting his front left wheel was hanging off, so he went back to the pit. So these cars don't take a lot to get real hard damage on the cars where they have to go back to the pits. The slightest of touches can lose that wheel on there. As we can only watch Ball at the moment, and Angelo sort of getting away from Will and Jack in 4th. So Ball's having a right ball at the moment, as you were saying. Riding my pun, I can help myself there. So.
Honestly, if I was on the moon, I wouldn't even need a telescope to see that pun coming. Could see it from ages away. I mean, come
I
on,
was just
Andy.
lining it up, mate. I was just lining it up. That's all.
I mean, you've been waiting the whole season, so you had to deliver that one.
Oh.
Pravda, unfortunately having an issue. Also, we've had Parise have to tow back to the pit, so once this one's resolved, might get a replay of what happened to Parise. I think a crash at turn 1 or turn 2. Janka off super tight there, but he is ahead of Skurret now. So fastest lap of the race last time, and he's up into 3rd place. He's 2.5 seconds off ball, but with 10 minutes to go, that's plenty of time to bridge it.
Yeah, definitely a great drive there, coming from 10th place all the way back to 3rd. So a great drive at the moment as we watch Parise coming here down into turn number 1. Just hits that grass on the outside and unfortunately spears him off into the wall. So sort of a self-induced injury there going around turn number 1 that will put massive pace to his current championship run and obviously race 2 run. So just another quick shout out to one of our other sponsors, Apex Racing Academy. Apex Racing Academy has 29 data packs for setups, track guides integrated with VRS. As we watch Jank here and Angelo coming around the first corner. Just see what's here. No, not. Okay. Oh, we're back live there. I missed that replay there. So yeah, as I was saying, with Apex Racing Academy, it's fully integrated with VRS. They have groupie coaching sessions plus many more. Head over to apexracingac.com to see what they can offer for you as we watch currently the hotly contested 2nd place position between Angelo, Janks, Garrett and Will and so all in a long line here trying to get that 2nd position. But Ball, as we see at the moment, is just running away with this race.
Yeah, he's got excellent pace. I mean, no disrespect to Simon, but I am surprised. Because I don't feel like he's delivered this so far as Janka moves to 2nd position there, so that's a good overtake there from Janka. Can Angelo keep in 2nd place, or is Skurret going to be able to get past? Also got Sorensen trying to get past Jet Will, but Ball's pace is so good out in the lead, 51.4 that last time round. He's going to be tricky to catch. I mean, that would have put him up, I think, in about 6th position in qualifying, if I recall correctly. And yeah, so even Jank is going to have a tough time, but I think he will have time. Just needs about maybe half a second a lap in order to catch up, and of course that slipstream will help him out a little bit as well. I think the big question is, can Angelo and co keep with him? Credit to Angelo, by the way, who of course had the lead in the opening stage. I thought Angelo starts in 3rd place, got into the lead straight away. I was thinking, okay, this guy's got this one now, but unfortunately had a rubbish end to lap 1, dropped down. Since then, his pace has been very good. He's been able to keep in 3rd position, only losing out to Janka since then. But now the cavalry has started galloping, and Janka takes out 0.4 of a second that last time round. Angelo, though, having to defend from Skurret, and little defensive manoeuvres like that, it is going to help Janka pull away.
Yeah, definitely a great drive again from Janka in 2nd place, obviously starting in 10th. Was the winner in race 1 and is now trying to chase down Simon Ball. So currently 2 seconds behind him. I wouldn't put it past him, but obviously time is not going to be on his side. Currently 6 minutes left of race number 2. So approximately another 3-4 laps to try and claw back that gap. And not having that slipstream at the front, it's sort of going to be neutralising and be the sort of same speed as Simon Ball coming down the straights. And what he's got to be aware of is the drivers behind him, they're all sort of lining up, and they will have the slipstream on Jank in 2nd place, as we see Skurret there going into 3rd with Angelo currently in 4th with Jarrett Will just on his tail. So the top of the AMS is currently Will with Sorensen in 6th place. He may be taking it a little bit easy, Sorensen, obviously after his escapades in race 1, just to try and get some speed back into his belts as we watch Gabor Savo here in 11th place, just taking Walsh coming around the back end of the course. So good Gabor Savo taking 11th place, which is the reverse good pole for race number 3.
Yeah, so yeah, that's going to be a very significant one if he could secure that position. Good drive from Domingos, by the way. Up there in 10th place. He had a bit of a disappointing end to race 1, but he's up 5 places at the moment. Smith up 11 places, Sharp and Tear up 10. Of course, starting from the pit lane. Once again, did Sharp and T8. Actually, Domingos trying to come back against the Dutch driver, which would be a good effort if he could pull off that one. But yeah, out in the lead, by the way. Bull only lost 1/10 that last lap to Yanka. It was actually Skurret who was the fastest of anyone. So Yanka needs to find that qualifying pace, which seems to be eluding him at the moment. He's going to need those qualifying laps if he's going to catch up to the leader with just a third of the race to go. And still we're seeing Domingos trying to go for these alternative lines. This is not the widest circuit in the world, but when you see these Formula V cars race around here, it does look like Sepang International circuit, honestly, where you can pit 16 F1 cars alongside one another. As in fact, we've got a potential change for second place, and this is the battling these guys don't want to be in. If you're Skurret, just wait behind Yanka. He's very quick. He'll tow you up to the leaders, but this battling is costing each other so much time, and Simon Bull is edging closer to the race win right now.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think we've had an win this season. I'm pretty sure we haven't. But I mean, Simon Ball has sort of got taken at the start by Andelo, but got that position back, and since then has been sort of out front on his own, so able to cut the lines that he wants to cut on the track. But the real racing here at the moment is in the second. There's Mathias spin there by Gerrit Rill. By himself going around there, but luckily didn't manage to pick up any of the drivers. And if you manage to get around there, things, he manages to not cause himself any damage, just a little embarrassment, and unfortunately falls back to 8th place. So we now have currently 3 cars in this second place battle, with a slight gap back to Sorensen and Smith, as we see Gerrit Will going into the pit. So obviously did get a bit of damage from that incident there, but can take his fast repair and try and get out. So bit of a story for the championship. Skurret's obviously in second place, and who's currently second in the Pro Championship, and Behrens, who's currently in 15th place, will lose a mountain of points on there. So a slender two-point gap over the top of the championship will be sort of nullified by this race. So certainly Behrens needs to get into that reverse grid pole, which is looking highly unlikely at the moment, to stand a chance of trying to keep that top place position.
Yeah, apart from 14th, Dan has had to take a fast repair. Will also taking a fast repair now as well. In fact, if anything, I think 14th and Dan may have had to have taken toes back to the pits, in fact, which loses even more time. Will just having to take that kind of extra tour down the pits. So yeah, terrible time right now for Behrens, but you know, we've seen so many up and downs this season, and undoubtedly Yanka and Skurret and Co, his main championship rivals, will have problems themselves in the closing stages, and that's what Behrens has got to be thinking right now, that it will come to him later on. This Okayama round certainly looks like he is going to lose the championship lead. 2 more rounds to go in the championship after this, but of course this isn't the only league that Apex Racing League host. There's many other series. In fact, we can reveal that there will be a Master Cup series, season 3 of that, coming up on Monday night. So that'll be starting in 3 weeks' time. Then we've also got a GT3 league, a Radicals league, a touring car league. Then we've also got Formula 3s, GTEs, Porsche Cup as well. All of that information is available on apexracingleague.com. So if you want to take part in some league racing in a variety of racing formats on Apex Racing, on iRacing, apexracingleague.com is certainly the place to go. As we see a little bit of sideways lock there for Behrens, trying to keep Haraski behind.
Yeah, definitely gets the place back there, as so obviously trying to do damage limitation here, trying to keep that 15th. Haraski really wants that 16th place off him, so he's certainly going to be going all the way to the line to try and keep hold of that 15th place. I think every single point in this championship matters, because like you said, Sam, it's, you know, you never know what's going to happen in these 15-minute races within these cars. One slight little tap, one slight little off track, and your race could be ended. So you should never give up in this championship, and you see these drivers that they never do, you know, because at any one time you could lose the position you're in there, as we saw Doladoni in the first race go from third place straight down to fifth place in 2 laps. So keep it going. But at the moment, Philip Jank and Scarrett in second place, battling it out. Slightly bringing it down to Simon Ball, but it's still 1.6 seconds, and he's going to have one more lap. I think he's going to get over the line, possibly, maybe not 20 seconds. Might not. It's going to be close if he has to go round again. So if Simon Ball's a little bit street savvy, he'll make sure that he goes over the line with over 15 seconds. So currently 10 seconds left to the end of this race. So I think this is the end of the race. As we come over the line, we'll see if it is the checkered flag, which I think it's going to be. Yes, it is. That was excellently timed there by Simon Ford. And I think, Sam, that is the first win that we've had in this series.
I think it is. Congratulations to Simon Ball, and remarkable driving. He's been playing himself down this whole season. He could have done that in race 1 of the season, but no, he wants to keep us on edge. He wants to make a surprise win, and Ball was driving perfectly. I mean, his pace was so good. His fastest lap was like 2/10 off the best lap of the race. So Simon, great drive there, and he beats Yanka. He managed to get back past Skrett. Had Yanka and Skrett not battled, they probably wouldn't have caught up anyway. It didn't help them, but yeah, Yanka finishing in second place, making a very good evening of things at the moment. It's only for 15th and 16th place, but Behrens and Husky are fighting furiously over this one. I don't think that's enough time though, because the start-finish line around this track is very far down the pit straight, but it's not enough for Hiraski to get the draft. As you can see, he's kind of understeering out, sliding all over the place. He's trying to get in the draft, but yeah, it's too little, too late. Purise and Pravda rounding out the top 18. Reeve 1 lap down, will score points still, at least in that lowly position.
Definitely. So we're going to take a quick break here on Apex Racing TV to get some adverts from our sponsors. So we'll see you on the other sides of the adverts.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Apex Racing TV. Just saw two adverts there from two of our sponsors, Virtual Racing School and Apex Racing Academy. Please head over to their webpages, virtualracingschool.com and apexracingac.com, to see further information on them two services. The other sponsor that we haven't talked about is SDK Gaming, that gives our wonderful overlays that we see on track. So add a virtual live hub to iRacing, showing timing towers, enhanced relative boxes, mini maps, fuel calculators and more. Stream to Switch with the most comprehensive overlay in iRacing. Broadcast your leagues and series. SDK Gaming syncs your commentary, team cameras, focus drive overlay with your broadcaster, and adjust your team strategy on the fly with the most accurate live timing on iRacing. So big thanks to our three main sponsors for this championship. As we look over the race results for race number 2, so we have our first and winner of the season so far. Simon Ball takes first place, Philip Jank takes second place, so that's the first and second for Philip Jank tonight, so a great result for him at the moment. Alexander Scarrett in third, Flavio Andlo in fourth, Aaron Smith fifth, Torrance Sorensen second in the AMs in sixth, Russ Fowler seventh, Marco Charpentier in eighth, Pedro Dominguez, Jay Walsh, Gabo Sabo, Alex Rodenbuck, Jarrett Will, and then we see all the ones that went in for the fast repair: Daniel Sivasavo, Jacob Behrens, Miro Haraski, Jacob Parisi, Prista Prava, Jack Reeves and Alexandro Dalladone. So unfortunately Dalladone decided not to race in race number 2 in the end there, so won't pick up any points there, Sam, but certainly an interesting 2 races we've had so far tonight.
Yes, it's been very good so far. Lots of slipstream. I didn't realise that the slipstream would be quite this strong, but honestly, if you're within like 4/10 of the car head onto the back straight, then you're going to be alongside by the end of it. So really has facilitated some great action so far, and yeah, that race still was quite a surprise, but high quality driving on the most part. I know we had some incidents on lap 1, but after that it seemed really good, and well, we can only hope that it is similar for race 3, which will be launching in just under a minute's time.
Yeah, definitely. So we look at the grid here for race number 3. So we've got Gabo Sabo in first place, so takes race 3 pole. Jay Walsh, the first of the AMs, in second place. Pedro Dominguez, the second of the AMs, in third place. You've got Mark Charpentier in fourth, but he'll be starting in the pits. Russ Fowler in fifth, Thomas Sorensen, Aaron Smith, Flavio Andelo, Alexander Scarrett, Jan-Philippe Jank starting again in 10th place. Simon Ball in 11th, with Alex Rodenbuck in 12th. Jarrett Will in 13th, Daniel Sivasavo, Jacob Behrens in 15th, Miro Haraski in 16th, Jacob Parisi in 17th, Prista Prava, Jack Reeves and Alexandro Dalladone at the back of the field for this one. So we'll see what race 3 will throw up, which is normally the one where we see a lot of incidences, but we have seen a lot of incidents at the moment in the first 2 races. So as we just start getting into the red lights, and we'll see if Sabo can get a good lap away from the line. Seems to do okay, but Walsh gets a stormer there. Is actually up with Savo at the moment. Has got that inside line, which is obviously very favourable to him, managing to take a position. But as long as Savo manages to stay around the outside, it was a little bit too wide there, but he'll have a good run back coming there. But unfortunately gone back down to 3rd places, and Walsh manages to take first, and Dominguez gets second with Savo in 3rd at the moment. Drivers hopefully will get around this corner, and we won't see any gymnastic moves coming around turn number 2, as Dominguez manages to get up in front of Walsh on the inside at the moment, pushing Walsh out wide around the hairpin, as the drivers manage to get away for race number 3, relatively incident free, as we watch him go down the back straight for the first time.
Yeah, no one's spun it through turn 2 for the first time tonight, so that is excellent stuff, as we see the lead battle between Walsh and Dominguez at the moment. Dominguez with the inside line, Walsh on the outside. It's very even heading into the corner. Dominguez showing some good speed, and just running slightly wide there was the British driver. Opened up the staying, however, good acceleration there. Bit of contact between the two of them. Walsh takes back the lead, but that did just hold them up ever so slightly. Yanka already up 5 places, Smith up 3 places, so they are charging their way through at the moment. As we see a response once again from Dominguez. He's not holding back whatsoever, and Smith trying to go up the inside as well. So Smith past Sabo. Was Dominguez able to get past Walsh? No, he was not, but he is fighting super hard as nearly Sabo making contact to Smith heading into the second hairpin as they have almost completed this lap. And still, they just cannot decide who's going to go ahead here. It's finally Dominguez who moves ahead, but of course he's now going to be under pressure down the pitch straight.
Walsh going a bit
ball is
wide
round.
there. Ball as well. We had a bit of an incident at the front there with Walsh going a little bit wide, and then obviously at the back of the field we have Ball who's gone back to the pit. So after his excellent race 2 victory is sort of paid to a little bit into race 3, but as we see a big wide out round for Pedro Dominguez going around the first corner, so he will lose as we see him plough down the field. Coming back onto the field in 15th place, but at the front of the grid we've got Smith, Saville and Jank obviously in 3rd place as well, 7th place at the moment. The guy's on a charge tonight. I think he's been putting some heavy practice in on this track here, and it's certainly paying for him with a race win, a 2nd place, and in good place at the moment to but as we look at the front of the grid, Smith managing to get up 6 places and getting a little bit of a gap now on Saville in 2nd place, and you can just see all the cars lining up behind Saville to just try and take him down into the hairpin. And as we've seen before, if you're on that inside line, certainly seems to be the fast one, as we watch Sorensen come down on the inside and managing to take 2 places, so we can see the power of that inside line coming down there. But unfortunately, I think is that got Parise and Reeves coming around into the hairpin. Get a replay of that.
Everything was going on ahead. I was noticing Behrens in the yellow helmeted IG Arcade guy. He was all over the place. He was thinking, I'm going up the inside now, outside, inside, outside, and that was the context a bit further back. Yeah, unfortunate was that one. And then there has also been an incident for Jay Walsh, I believe, who's dropped out the wall. You can see how there was a car just behind him coming out of Revolver, and there goes Behrens as well, dancing absolutely everywhere, gets past everyone. That's a lovely stuff there for Behrens. He'll be laughing now, and unfortunately it's Walsh who comes out at the bottom. The track's nearly going 4 wide in a couple of the corners there. And also, could we get a replay perhaps of the Smith incident with Dominguez at the start of the last lap, because that was how Smith took the lead. I'm not sure if there was contact involved or whether Dominguez just went off by himself, but it means that Smith is in the lead now. Yanka in 2nd place, and Behrens up 11 places. Good recovery from him so far in this race 3. He is up to 4th overall.
Yeah, definitely. So we watch the replay. Let's just see if this is the replay with Aaron Smith.
So Dominguez found it by himself, so that was how Smith took the lead.
Yeah, unfortunately they've gone into a little bit too hot into that first lap, as we see Smith and Jank managing to claw right back up to Smith here. Trying to get that outside line that paid for him in race number 1. Not quite doing it at the moment. We see 3 wide going into their corners, and I think that gives a bit of aspect to what you said earlier on, Sam, saying it's not the widest of track, but with these cars being so narrow, it just makes these tracks look huge, and you get 3 or 4 wide on some of these corners, which is always good, as we watch Sorensen here trying to take Fowler for 5th place, all over the back of him, so probably dive down the inside, but Fowler manages to cover off the corner very well and keep Sorensen at bay. But then Sorensen has got Will coming up past the inside. I thought Will was just going to go for it then, but Sorensen manages to close the door on it, and Will manages to slow up his car to not go into the back of Sorensen for race number 3. So certainly a lot of action here between the Androids, as Scarrett at the moment needs to get past these 3 to get on the back of Behrens to make sure that he can keep hold of that race, the championship pole position at the moment, which undoubtedly he probably will be at the end of this race, as we watch him come down there. Thinking the optimistic dive down the inside there, but thinking better of it. So one of the cars there goes wide and manages to pick up 1 place. You can't really see a lot in these cars. You see what that car on the left has managed to get out of the way as Alex Brett picks up another place at the moment, and Thomas Sorensen moves down into it.
Yeah, Sorensen down 2 places, which is quite a surprise. He's, very quick driver. is Sorensen. Surprise hasn't made more progress. Was that Sorensen trying to get past us there? Not sure if that was contact or whether Skret kind of saw Sorensen go up his inside, so had to turn out of the car slightly. And then we get this such a huge back straight. And I mean, in a Formula 1 car, when the F1 visited here in the mid-90s, this is a very short straight, but in these cars it goes on forever, and you can get the drop that Skret is getting here, but he cannot find a way past. Now there's contact, he needs to try to find a way through. He just about does. Outside line was a good line there. Will making contact there with Sibi Sabo, who I don't think was able to avoid, and now Will stuck in the other circuit, toes back to the pits, and that's a disappointing end to his evening. But yeah, that was a bit of an unnecessary contact there, because they were alongside for a long time before they had plenty of time to prepare for how they were going to deal with that one, and in the end didn't leave each other enough space.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's a thing with these rounds is normally the first two you get the winners streak away, and then sort of the third round it gets a super close finish here, as we see in Smith and Jank taking it to each other in first and second, and there's literally nothing in there. So it'll be interesting to see if Jank can get it done. He's alongside him at the moment, going here into turn one. Obviously, Aaron Smith has got that inside line, so Philip Jank has to go around the outside. So Aaron at the moment playing really defensive and doing a really good job holding up Philip Jank, and we know he's a fast driver around this track. So at the moment, Smith again, I think it was last week he had his first race win, so has certainly got the bug for the race win and doing everything he can at the moment. Philip Jank coming up the inside into the hairpin. I think he's going to manage to get this done at the moment. Obviously Smith going out wide, so we will get that extra speed coming down, so it's going to be a drag race coming down into the hairpin, but at the moment Philip Jank ahead and Smith will tuck him behind to get that slipstream.
Yeah, this will be easy enough for him to get alongside and get his nose ahead, but Janka does have the advantageous line still. Smith just trying to squeeze him a little bit on the inside here. And guys, a lot of speed, really late braking, but he just runs a little bit wide, and you're running such a fine line through that hairpin when you're on the outside. If you go that little bit too wide, it really does compromise your pace a lot. But that was brilliant that time from Smith, and he keeps the lead. Now our Sabo and Behrens catching up to these two a little bit, maybe about half a second, 7/10 on this lap so far, but not enough. I mean, the top two would need to be battling like this for every corner to the end of the race for Sabo and Behrens to catch back up. So I think it's looking fairly unlikely. But Smith isn't going to give this one easily, even though Janka, at least from what I have seen tonight, seems to be the slightly faster driver.
I think it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of the same in the last round. We're going to see from the next couple of rounds. So some driver makes a mistake or can get that break that slipstream. So I think we're certainly into the realms of seeing a rinse and repeat for the next couple of laps anyway, and it'll be interesting. I hope it doesn't end on somebody making a silly incident. It's always great when we're watching these battles to see the drivers how close, and obviously hearing how sweaty they are at the end of the race when they come in the commentary booth, because they're literally having somebody breathe down the neck for the full 15 minutes. But certainly Philip Jank doing everything he can to try and do it. So unfortunately not taking the inside line, so just going to have that slipstream effect. So a bit of role reverse here for the last night as we watch here. Alex Skret in 7th place, just doing everything he can to try and get past these two AMs in front of him. Manages to get it done, but he's not going to have the slipstream coming down the back straight where Haraski and Fowler are going to have the slipstream on him. So going on to that inside line for the defensive line to make sure that he's got the inside line for the hairpin, as we see 3 wide coming down to the hairpin.
Yeah, he did the wise thing there, and actually he might be able to hold on to this, so it would be impressive if Skret could come out on top after all of this. But actually it's Fowler who managed to go all the apologies, Haraski, who was able to go around the outside of all of them, and well, actually comes out on bottom, so that just shows the disadvantage you have. You may have seen at the top there, Janka nearly or did get past Smith for a bit, but wasn't able to hold on to the position. So it's Smith back in the lead, Janka in 2nd place. Behrens is up to 3rd place. He's got past Sabo. Still, Fowler and is really a nuisance to Skret. And this has allowed Nareski to get miles away. Look at him, he's 1.3 seconds ahead in about 3 corners, and now Dominguez is in this one. And Pravda, after a very disappointing evening once again, always, finishes all the races though. Pravda, if he has to take a faster pair, he does so. Always makes sure that he finishes within a couple of laps of the race lead, catching up to these drivers in 10th. And here comes Dominguez, who I think has been particularly quick tonight. Interestingly, I mean, these top 10 only separated by 10 seconds. Not a whole lot of field spread so far, all quite competitive down the order. So that is something good to see. But out in the lead, down to 0.2 of a second again between Smith and Yanko.
Yeah, this is going to be a great view here coming down into the hairpin before they go on to the back straight. So again, Philip Jank is obviously in the back, so back of Smith, so he'll have the slipstream coming down here into the bottom half of the stretch with the hairpin. So Philip Smith will probably take that inside line, which seems to be the fastest one. Or for Smith, he's sort of been on the outside line, but we see here Philip Jank going around the outside at the moment. Smith got that inside line. It's whether you can get that good speed coming around this outside, because you can shoot past and try and get that inside line, but at the moment Philip Jank just happens to stay behind Smith at the moment, just keeping within distance at the moment. But Aaron Smith is doing an excellent job at the moment of defending Philip Jank. But even if Philip Jank obviously gets second place, that's a great points haul for him tonight, the first and 2 seconds on here. But we look at Behrens at the moment in third place, trying to get back past Sabo. But Sabo's done an excellent job, and you said before in the race, Sam, I think if he gets a bit of fresh air, he's a very quick driver, Sabo.
Yes, yeah, he sure is, and yeah, that 4th position would be a strong result for him, as we get a replay of something that's happened to Dominguez. Now Dominguez now 7 seconds behind Pravda, and in this shot we've got Pravda just ahead, so Dominguez fortunately losing the car. And yeah, these cars, I mean, it is a fixed setup, so maybe just the setup not quite being the easiest to drive, but it's remarkable just how these guys can spin these cars on the top. And that was another example of that, because we were chatting to Jordan Kelly earlier on in the season. He drives kind of the Irish version of this car, but he finds it impossible to spin in real life. This is a different model, of course, but easiest car to spin in all of iRacing, I think, is this, at least in the simmers. Smith pretty much carbon copy to the last lap, defending onto the pit straight. In fact, this might be the last lap. It's going to be very close as to whether or not we get one more to go.
Yeah, definitely. So the victory coming along across the line, the same as we see Philip Jank taking the outside line, get that momentary in the first place, but then Aaron Smith got that inside line and managing to keep the place. And unfortunately, time's massively running out here for Philip Jank if he wants to get his 2 race wins for tonight. But Aaron Smith is again desperate to get that race win on there, so it'd be an outstanding win if he can keep it. Obviously, keeping Philip Jank at bay for pretty much the majority of this race at the moment. So we'll see. I'm not sure if the white flag.
I think this will be it. I think.
As we see Philip Jank just getting on the back of him. He needs to have a really good corner here to try and get the slipstream out. It is quite long down the end of this field, so it's going to be to the line. Smith at the moment just keeping it in a straight line, getting every speed he can, and I think he's going to have enough. Yeah, he just has enough, and Aaron Smith takes first place with Philip Jank taking a first and 2 seconds tonight. So a great race and a great recovery drive from Jacob Behrens, up 12 places to manage to get that third place. So a little bit of damage limitation for him for this race 3.
Yes, that was, I think, his best result of the night in the end for Behrens. But congrats to Aaron Smith there, taking that good race win. And yeah, he's got a good run of form at the moment. I think he's out of championship contention, but if he is, then he'll be quite a thorn in the side of some of these pro drivers, because he's certainly got the pace to mix it up with them. Top of the amateurs, of course, yeah, Gabor Sabe there with a really good win Sorensen second place out of the amateurs. Pravda championship leader in the amateurs. And I believe you will still be the championship leader in the amateurs, running in 9th position at the close. I think we just got a few more drivers actually to across the line, because a few had to tow back to the pits. Ball, Walsh and Anderley, but they will all score points because they finish on the lead lap.
Yeah, definitely. Just a shout out to our YouTube viewers. Thanks for joining us. If you've liked it tonight, then please give us a thumb up on the YouTube channel, and also subscribe if you haven't already, because you'll get and click that bell, because you'll get notifications of all the leagues that Sam said earlier on that happens every single day. So we got the new Mazda Cup taking over from this on a Monday in 3 weeks time. We got the GT Pro on Tuesday, we got the Radicals on Wednesday, we got the touring cars on Thursday. Friday we have got we're on Friday now.
Porsche Cup.
Porsche Cup, that's one.
I think you're commentating on it.
I think I might be as well. Formula 2 on Saturday, with currently the GTE with a brand new gauntlet. So go and have a look over on Apex Racing TV and ApexRacingLeague.com and read all about that gauntlet. It sounds very interesting, and I'm quite tempted to put my name down for that. So please give us a like and a subscribe, and you'll get notifications on that. But as we saw there, a really good drive there from Aaron Smith to hold off Jean-Philippe Jank for first place. Jean-Philippe Jank getting second place, so he's had a pole position and 2 second places for Jean-Philippe Jank, so a good portal for him. Jacko Burns in third place, 2 thirds, that's not too bad. Obviously had a disastrous race too, and Gabor Savo top of the AMs in 4th place, so a really good race for him, with Thomas Sorensen in 5th. Haraski 6th, Scaret, Fowler, Pravda, Dominguez, Civi Savo, Reeves, Roddenbuck, Ball, Walsh, Andelo, Will, Parisi, Charpentier, and again Alexandro Dalladoni decided to not take race 3, as did Mark Charpentier. So really interesting, and at least it goes to form anyway, Sam, that we've had 3 different winners of the 3 different races.
Yeah, I think it's only happened a couple of times this season where we have had a multiple winner on a single night, and yeah, it just shows how open this series is. How it shows what the strength of depth is like in this series as well. So yeah, great work from all the drivers out there once again. I think you were just mentioning, subscribing to Apex Racing TV. Also make sure to check out our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages as well, so you can see little clips of all of our races. Make sure to do that.
Yes, definitely. So we've got a few drivers in our waiting area. As you've kind of given me the lead for tonight, Sam, I'll let you have first pick of who you want to chat to.
Oh, okay, Jake. I would like to have a talk with... Well, I'd like to have a talk with Jakob Behrens, who joins us in the commentary box right now. Jakob, a bit of a mixed day in the end, because you managed to get those 2 podiums along with a 15th position. I've got to ask you first though, what happened in qualifying? Because you qualified down in 10th position. It didn't seem like you got a clean lap in.
Yeah, qualifying was just an absolute disaster. I tried, my teammate led the first lap, and my tires just weren't in the correct area, and just first lap was garbage really. And I just didn't get any. Well, I backed out of every single lap of the lap because I thought, oh, I still have time, but I ended up just running out of time really. So quite a disaster.
It was still a great start though to that race 1. You managed to get your way up through the order. It finished in 3rd position, but it looked like a lot of fun out there, because if I recall correctly, were you fighting with Alessandro for most of that race? It looked like some tight battling between you two.
Well, I mean, actually it was orchestrated teamwork. We thought that if we let ourselves get in the slipstream and let the other pass on the straight, then we could maybe try to make some gains on the group ahead. That didn't end up working, so we just stuck with staying behind each other for, like, I think solid 1/3 of the race before last 2 laps, where we went at it again.
Yeah, looked like that was good teamwork from you guys managing to kind of make up some of that gap. And then unfortunately the 15th place in race 2 requiring a toe, but that race 3 really storming up through the order. I mean, when you were seeing Smith and Yanka battle on that last lap, did you think that you might be able to sneak through, because they were very close to contact a couple of times?
Yeah, I was so. I would not have complained if there was just like tiny bit of contact and that just swoop past. But watching those two go at it from 2 seconds behind for like, I think it was a solid 3 or 4 laps, just watching it slowly making gains but not being able to catch properly up, that was annoying to say at least.
I can imagine. Next up, we've got Charlotte Rovel. That's, I mean, I always say that's just like the weirdest check in the world. It's, a Rovel, and yet it has elevation change. I mean, there's nowhere like it on the earth. What's your opinions of it? Because I do know that circuit divides opinions a lot.
I think I've driven on it a total of 2 times, both in the Mazda MX-5, and that's close to half a year ago now. But all right track, it's just some corners tend to cause quite massive shunts, and I'm afraid that we especially will get really nervous over the elevation changes. But just like Brands, I think it'll work out.
Awesome. Well, we're wishing you the best of luck for that one. Jakob, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Of course, my teammate and Kjetil Larsen, also a teammate of mine, who went into my Twitch chat and talked to me during the race and practice sessions. And also everyone who voted in the election today in Norway. Huge shout out to everyone. The people that sat at home, not shout out to you. You need to get up and go vote to maintain the democracy. Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had a better message in an interview room for Apex Racing TV. Thanks for having a chat with us, Jakob, and see you back next week.
Yeah, see you back.
Jakob Behrens there. Did not realise there was an election going on tonight. Andy, who would you like to have a chat with?
Let's go with race 3 winner Aaron Smith. Hi Aaron, welcome to the commentary booth. So yet again, race 3 seems to be your race at the moment.
Yeah, it's probably the most unexpected win I've ever got, because race 1 went as bad as it could have possibly gone, and I just at that point was like, okay, let's just try and salvage something from this. Race 2 just sneakily climbed up to 5th, and then race 3, everyone in front of me was either slow or just crashed, so I just overtook everyone and found myself in the lead on lap 2, and managed to have a really great battle with Janky the entire race. We just kept it really fair, really clean, and I came out on top, and I'm shocked but happy. So.
Yeah, there was also some excellent defending there between yourself and Jan Philippe, who was exceptionally quick all night. So, for yourself to keep him at bay for what was pretty much 3/4 of that race, you must have been feeling it, and I'd imagine you're a little bit sweaty at the moment.
Yeah, just a bit. those last few laps, my heart was beating so quick, especially when I came across the line and it was just like white flag. It was like, okay, just do this one more time and we can come home with it. And I managed to do it. It's such a good feeling.
Yeah, so we obviously had the race last week where you got a bit fortunate. So you had a bit more of a gap for the race win last week at Brands. But certainly tonight you certainly had to work for that win. But congratulations on the win there. So we got the Charlotte Rovel next. What are you thinking about that one?
I think it'll be absolute chaos, to be honest. Those 2 chicanes, especially because they have such big run-ups to them, it's going to be mental. And I think it'll be a lot of fun, but it will just be chaos, especially on lap 1. Going into the first chicane especially is going to be just utter chaos. But
have you actually driven around there yet in this car or not?
Not yet, but driven it in the Mazda, and they're kind of similar feeling cars to an extent. Just one's open wheel, the other one isn't. So, it's difficult. I think it'll be fun, but challenging at the same time.
Yeah, I suppose though the sort of pressure's off. You know, the championship, unfortunately for yourself, is a little bit out your grasp. But I think you're certainly you're enjoying the racing now, and we can sort of see that on stream that you're enjoying it a lot more. And obviously, your last 2 races, you've managed to pick up a first place, so it's almost let the shackles off you, and you're just enjoying your races. That's certainly what it seems on stream. Is that how you feel in the car?
Yeah, 100%. I think I went into this championship at the start with the wrong mentality. I just was like, okay, take it super serious and just don't trust anyone. And I think I've taken my time over the season to just kind of relax and actually enjoy the racing. And especially this week and last week, they just unbelievable amounts of fun coming through the field, and this car is so satisfying to drive when you get it right. And yeah, it's a lot more fun now that I've kind of changed my mindset on the whole thing.
Well, congratulations again on your race 3 victory. Seems to be a growing trend with yourself, and we look forward to seeing you at the Charlotte Rovel. Before we let you go, mate, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
My team, Zem Racing, they've given me great opportunities, and they've been heavily supportive, and I'm incredibly grateful for them. It's such an amazing team. Everyone at Apex for running the series, all the commentators, it wouldn't be the same without you guys. You guys just make it so much fun to watch back, and you provide us with fun series to do. So yeah, and anyone else who's watching, I guess.
Thanks for that. Thanks for the shout out to us too. We try to do our best here in the commentary booth for you guys anyway. So look forward to seeing you next week, Aaron.
Yeah. Good night, guys.
Okay, there was Aaron Smith, your race 3 winner. So Sam, we've got one more. So the teammate to Behrens in the chat. Did you want to pick him up?
I sure will. Alexander Skaretz now joins us in the commentary box. Alexander, congratulations tonight, because you managed to get a 4th, a 3rd, and a 7th. Some really consistent results, not far off the lead in any of the races. So, you must be quite pleased with that one.
Yeah, it was. The last race was a little average, but the 2 first one was good and clean. So, and the points haul today was good. So.
Definitely. I mean, you mentioned the points, so I've already seen that the points have been updated. And
yeah.
well, good news and bad news. You have you've got ahead of your teammate in the championship. Bad news is you're behind Yanka, but it doesn't really mean anything, because the gap is 1 point, 865 to 864. Only a few points back to Behrens, Siri, Sabe, Stern there, Huraski might still have a chance. Have you ever taken part in a championship which has been this close?
No, and really this is my first championship, so I'm driving the F3, but I'm way off pace there, so this is the first time I've really been competitive.
And next up we've got Charlotte Rovel for another 3 races. What do you think the racing is going to be like around there? Is it going to be kind of the slipstreaming like we had tonight, or do you think it's going to be a bit more tricky to overtake?
I really haven't raced much on the track, and I haven't tried it in the Wii yet. So, but this straight is so long, so it can't be worse than this.
No, overtaking was very easy to tonight, undoubtedly. And yeah, how was the racing tonight? Because we're just seeing an onboard of some parts of your racing, and it seemed like there was a lot of kind of 3 wides tonight, a lot of ambitious overtakes, but you seem to be able to kind of stay out of trouble.
Yeah, on the last race, someone crashed in front of me on the hairpin, and I have to take an avoiding line and lost 3 or 4 places. So, and then I was stuck in a group of 3 or 4 cars, and then it's really hard to pass because everyone is drafting each other.
Absolutely, yeah. Probably tough stuff out there tonight. Before we let you go, Alexander, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
I actually like to give a shout out to everyone I raced today. It was really clean drafting and not a lot of weaving and pushing each other. So great, fun, clean racing today. So thanks to everyone.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having for coming up and having a chat with us, Alexander, and best of luck for next week.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Alexander Scoret there, finishing in 4th, 3rd, and 7th positions. And like I said, Andy, I mean, this is incredible. We didn't think the championship could get any closer, but it has done. Yanka 865, Scoret 864, Behrens 860, Civi Sabo 845, and then Hurasku with 821. Even Smith might have a chance for 799, but he'd need a huge favour and pretty much win every race to the end of the season. But those top 4 in particular are really all in the mix in the Amateur Championship. We've still got Pravda ahead. Dominguez, I think, just maintaining the gap tonight ahead of Jet Will, who also scored a similar amount of points, so not too many changes in the Amateur Championship. But yeah, Yanka's really been able to make up that deficit. He was going into this round a few points behind, but now he comes out marginally ahead.
Yeah, definitely. You sort of stole my thunder there. I was just about to upload it, and you said you uploaded it. But yeah, I mean, he had an exceptional round tonight, did Philip Jank, obviously 865 points, so only 1 point ahead. And like you said, it's so close with the top 3. But in this championship, you never know what's going to happen. Like you said, Aaron Smith all the way down in 6th, 66 points behind the lead. You know, there's nothing to say that he couldn't get up into the top 3 the way that this series has gotten. It just takes one incident where somebody's taken out the race and they could be taken down. But the AM Championship is starting to heat up a little bit. You know, Pravda's maybe feeling that little bit of pressure now, leading the championship for so long. I think it was around about 60 points at the start of the night. It's down to 44 now. So, you know, still 2 rounds to go. He's still got a commanding lead there. So it's very much sort of his to lose. But like we've been saying, Sam, you know, we got the Charlotte Rovel next. What's your final thoughts on that track?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. Oh, I never know what to say about that track again. It's a weird thing that that exists, but I think to do a few laps around there in that car should be good. But of course, we know how close the walls are around that track, and I mean, in the best times driving by yourself, it's tricky to keep it out of the walls. With 20-odd Formula V cars from what we've seen this season, it could be craziness. We could have pile-ups potentially. Hopefully, maybe we get one pile-up. That would be entertaining to see. Hopefully, we don't get many more crashes than that. And of course, a lot of slipstreaming as well. Maybe some close finishes. We always see drivers barge each other off the track at the final chicane, getting slowdowns and having to come to a halt at the line and all sorts. So now that should be really fun. You know, Charlotte Rovel, you can have crashes, but you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, so that's round 7 of the Formula V Championship at the Charlotte Rovel at the same time next week. So that's the sort of to the end of our broadcast tonight. But a big thank you to our 3 main sponsors for this championship: Virtual Racing School, STK Gaming, and Apex Racing Academy. And to all you viewers on YouTube, please give us a nice like and a subscribe. And like we said before, you can obviously get the bell as well to get notifications for all the series that we do here on Apex Racing TV. Also look at our social media page, our Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Just look for Apex Racing TV. We get little snippets of all the action that happens on all our channels. So my name is Andy Thompson. I've been joined in the commentary box with Sam Fitzpatrick, and Sammy Kumio has been on the productions for the wonderful overlays that we've had tonight. So from here at Okayama, I bid you farewell and see you same time next week for the penultimate round of the Formula V Championship. Good night.